Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Carole digs into what happens when you don't have a clear avatar for your business. Millions of small business owners are building their business without one. So Carole is going to take you behind why it is killing their business and what you can do to avoid the same fate. What can you do as a small business owner on Facebook to make sure that your reach is as great as it can be? Well, watch today's show to find out. Learn it, model it, and get shit done. Let's go.
Well, hello everybody. I thought I'd talk to you today a little bit about how to maximise your Facebook presence because there's been a lot of talk recently about Facebook and the reach being low, and what can you really do as a small business to make sure that your reach is as good as it can possibly be. So I've done a couple of challenges recently about Facebook, about Facebook pages and Facebook groups. And one of the mistakes that I see people making is thinking that Facebook is dead, thinking that it's no longer important to have a Facebook page and you can't compete because the reach has dropped considerably since the big algorithm changes a couple of years ago. And that's because Mark Zuckerberg basically wants everybody to have a group and to interact in groups. And that's fine, but you do still need a page. And let me tell you why. First of all, you can't advertise without a page. And there's only a couple of ways of getting traction on Facebook. So you can have fast, and you can have two of these three. You can have fast, cheap, and results. So you can have fast results, that's advertising. You can have cheap results, that's organic. But you can't have fast and cheap and results. If you try for fast and cheap, you'll get no results. So you do need a Facebook page because you do at some stage need to put some money against your Facebook if you're going to generate faster results than you want to do organically. But also, people expect to see you in your page. They expect to see that you have a page, and they expect to see it active and saying the kind of things that they expect to see. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's a bit like web pages were 20 years ago. So if we'd have been doing business 20 years ago and I'd said to you, what is your website? And you said to me, Carole, I don't have a website. Then I'd have thought, maybe not a proper business, or maybe not an up-to-date modern business in any case. And that's kind of where we are with Facebook and social media in general, but obviously Facebook is the biggest in terms of 3 billion users on Facebook, which is nearly half the world's population. It's crazy, isn't it? How they've got from 2004 to 2020 and managed to capture half the world's population is quite some feat. But of course it is very noisy on social media. However, it is used as a reference point. So I'll give you an example. I have a friend called Julie. She's a leadership coach. She believed that all her business is on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a good platform for her, but she didn't think she needed to be on Facebook because nobody in her audience would be looking at Facebook, and so she didn't have a Facebook page for some time. However, a couple of years ago, she was looking for she wanted an extension, so she asked various people for suggestions, recommendations. She got a recommendation out of a Facebook group, interestingly enough. She got another from the school gates, she got another from Google. And the first thing that she did with all of those was go to Facebook and look up the Facebook pages. Now, a couple of the people she was recommended didn't have a Facebook page, so for her they were out completely straight away. There was another one that had a Facebook page, but it wasn't very active, there wasn't much on it, so that was a bit disappointing for her. The last Facebook page she looked at had lots of before and after pictures of the kind of extensions that she was thinking of having. They were also active on the page. They also had a messenger bot that responded straight away when she sent a message. And so those are the guys who she went with, and they got her rather large extension contract. Now, when I sort of discussed this with her afterwards, it kind of made her realise that people do use Facebook, even if they don't think they do, and even if they don't think they do for business. So she now has a Facebook page. So you do need to have that presence, because if you think of it in terms of a funnel on Facebook, your Facebook page is the top of the funnel. So at this stage, at the top of the funnel stage, people don't know who you are. They don't care, actually, who you are. What they care about is themselves and what you can potentially do for them. So they want to know that straight away. So first of all, it needs to be very clear what the page is all about. And we have a philosophy. You know, some people do obviously call their business page their company name, and that's great. But in terms of maybe a subtitle for your header, or maybe even the URL for your page, you need to be thinking about who is it for? What is it you do, and who is it for? This is particularly important for groups, for open groups, and we're going to talk about groups a little bit more later on. But the what for whom naming phraseology is very important, because, like anything, Facebook's a bit of a search engine, and so you want to be showing up for things that people are looking for. So, you know, if people are looking for extensions, as in Julie's case, you want to be showing up for extensions, not, you know, Jones and Bird Builders, or whatever the name is. So on your header, you need to make it really clear what this business, what this page is all about, and who is it for. And you also need to be putting in a call to action for what you want them to do next. Now, Facebook loves it when you send people to your group, because that's what it wants people to do. They want big, well, not big, but they want active, engaged groups. So perhaps your call to action could be on your page, visit your group. But again, if it's going to be that, then you need a reason to take people to your group, because if they followed your page, not necessarily going to follow your group unless there's a good reason. So a lot of people follow a page to get freebies, to get discounts, to get knowledge of stuff before other people get it. When you think about what people use Facebook for, remember EIEIO. So what do I mean by EIEIO? Well, people come to Facebook for education, inspiration, entertainment, or information. So let's go through those one at a time. So they'll come to Facebook to be educated. So what do I mean by that? Well, a bit like YouTube, they might go onto Facebook and they might look for a page to do with dog grooming, because before lockdown they never had to groom their own dog, but now they do. They might look for a hairdresser's page so they can get tips on how to cut their kids' hair for the same reason, or a cookery page so they can get recipe ideas, or a vegan page because they're thinking of turning vegan and they want to check it out and get some education around the subject. Or they come to be inspired. So, you know, you're sat on the bus on the way to work, or you go to the coffee machine at work, or the kettle if you're working from home, to get away from your desk for a couple of minutes, and you might look at Facebook and see what can inspire you. And things that inspire people are quotes. People love quotes on Facebook, or stories. Stories are another big a big way of inspiring your audience, and that can be a story, or it can be a video, it could be written, it could be you face to camera, it could be a pre-prepared video. But people want to be inspired, they want to be taken out of themselves for a couple of minutes, or they want to be entertained. So here's your cat videos or other funny videos. Now, I'm not saying you should have a cat video on your page, But you do need to entertain your audience a bit, especially if your subject's a bit dry. You know, you don't want to bore people. So what is it that people would be looking for that might be entertaining? Well, it could be a poll. People love to give their opinions on things. It could be, I don't know if you've seen this kind of post, but a post that asks people to fill in the next word of a sentence. And people like doing that kind of stuff as well. That works particularly well within groups where you know the group is very targeted to your target audience, so you know what they're interested in. Which brings me to another point that we'll come back to in a minute about your audience. So that's entertainment. So what can you do? What can you share from other pages that will make people smile, that will take them out themselves for a couple of minutes, that will mean that they quite like your stuff actually, and they're going to come back because you cheered up their day. Or people go to Facebook for information. So the difference between education and information: education is people want to learn how to do something. They want to learn how to change a light bulb. They want to learn how to make a chicken tikka masala curry. But information is generally around news. So a lot of people go to Twitter for this, but people do still go to Facebook, particularly Facebook groups, for news, because people inherently like to be the first to know something. So, if you can go and share in your group or on your timeline, hey, did you hear the latest about blah, 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 then people love that. People love to be the first to know. I'm in a local group to where I live, and one of the posts recently was, hey, did you know there's going to be a wine bar on Finney Lane? Which is like amazing, because we have two pubs at the end of our village, one at one end, one at the other end, pretty much nothing in between. So a wine bar is big news, let me tell you. It was great to hear that news and be the first to break it to some of my neighbours. So if you're on the call, by the way, can you just say hello, because I can't see who's on the call. So it'd be nice to have a hello from you if you're watching the call at the moment. So we're talking about Facebook, and we're talking about what people go to Facebook for, and it's EIEIO: education, information, entertainment, inspiration. And so what is the O, you might be thinking? Well, the O is offer. But when I say offer, I don't mean you're being really salesy and you're talking about you all the time. You're talking about things that may be of use to your audience. You're letting people know, hey, I'm doing a Facebook challenge first week of October, come and join me, which I am, by the way, so feel free to come and join me. It could be, we've got a new product coming out, we've got a new, I've just launched my book, have you seen my latest Amazon bestseller? It could be anything that doesn't sound too salesy, but you're still letting people know what it is that they can do to work with you and to be part of whatever you're doing next. But keep it to that proportion. EIEIO, that's 1 in 5, that's 20%, that's Pareto's law. 20% of your stuff can be your offers, and the rest of it should be about your audience and what they're interested in and what they need from you. So a bit like these videos, these Facebook Lives on Brand Builders TV, this is to give you, the audience, value. And that's what you need to be doing on your Facebook pages. Because as I said before, the Facebook page is the top of the funnel. So at that stage, people don't know you, they don't care about you, they only care about themselves and what they can get from your page or your Twitter or your Insta or whatever it is, whichever channel they're on. They're interested in what's in it for them. Now, when they're on your page and you get to know them, they get to know you, and it's really important that you're active on your page and responding to comments, but that you're taking them somewhere else. So you're taking them ideally to your group. And in your group, you can interact with them more, and obviously they can interact with each other. As I said earlier, you also need a Facebook page because you can't advertise without a Facebook page. So it is important that you still have a Facebook page, and it's not so important that it's the biggest thing in the entire world anymore. Numbers are not the key the key factor, although of course the more people you have on your page, the more people will get to know about what you do, although the reach is pretty low on Facebook. So there are some strategies around getting more reach for your Facebook page, and one of them is to do a Facebook page likes ad. Another is to boost content that's on your page, but there is a specific time and place that you would do that, because otherwise you can waste a lot of money on Facebook page boosts. So remember that anything you do really on social media, there needs to be a strategy around it. Now I said I'd come back to audience, so let's talk about audience for a bit. What I find the problem with most small businesses is that they think that they can deal with everybody, and therefore they try to deal with everybody in their social media presence, and that's really not very helpful. Of course you can deal with anybody, that is the absolute truth. So we've dealt with companies as diverse as a plastics manufacturer who makes plastics out of oil, a French sports bar manufacturer who makes sports energy bars out of insect protein, funeral directors, makeup, clothing, dentists, restaurants, but we have a particular 2 or 3 niches. So we are very good at dealing with people who are coaches, consultants, trainers or speakers. We have a lot of clients in that area. We have a lot of clients in financial services, whether they're IFAs or mortgage brokers or accountants. And then we have another niche, which is IT companies, which probably comes from the fact that I ran an IT recruitment company for 20 years, so I understand IT. So that's the niches that we have. What is a good idea is to identify what is your key niche, what is your ideal client, and just try speaking to those people. Because if you try and speak to everybody, you're not going to be talking the language that they understand, you're not going to appeal to them. You really need to know your niche. So I was doing some analysis earlier today for a sportswear company. I can't mention who it is, but one of their competitors is Sweaty Betty. So Sweaty Betty do a great job of driving traffic from Facebook to their website. An average job would be between 1 and 3, maybe 1 and 4%, and that's kind of key across the industry. Even Nike only drives 3% of traffic over to its website from Facebook, from social in general. But Sweaty Betty are driving 12%, over 12% to their website from Facebook and Instagram mostly, and then some Twitter and Pinterest. And that's because they're really, really good at speaking to their audience and about just a certain couple of things. So obviously their audience is female, hence Sweaty Betty, and they are very good at giving their message out about their brand values, and we're going to come back to that in a minute, and speaking directly to their audience. And they're also on Facebook all the time, actually speaking to their audience. So that's really important. If you're going to put posts out, and it doesn't matter if you're using a posting service or posting directly, but if you're using a posting service and you know that your posts are best received at 11 o'clock in the morning, for example, then you need to be there at 11 o'clock in the morning when you post so that you can respond to people. So they're very good at that. They respond to absolutely everybody who makes any sort of comment on any of their posts. Doesn't matter what time of night or day it seems, there's somebody monitoring that and making comments. Now obviously that's easier if you are a big brand and you can have people working 24/7, then clearly they have the resources to do that, and you, if you're a small business, probably don't. Neither do I. However, if you know your post's going out at 2 o'clock, or you know your advert's going live any time now, just check it. Just check it at the time that it's going out, so that you can, you know, or maybe 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, so that you can respond to people as they make comments. Because if you do, then they will make more comments. If they know that they get a response when they're on your page and that you're talking to them directly, then they will come back. Why wouldn't they? You know, that's what people want. They're on social media because they want connection. They want to feel connected. They want to feel listened to. They want to feel that their opinion matters, that their voice matters. And therefore, if you can be on there and you can talk to them at the time that they are there, then that's the most powerful way. Because, as I said before, particularly with a Facebook page, it's the top of a funnel. It's this starting to get to know you. It's the, oh, I don't know who you are, but actually I quite like what you're saying in that video or what you said on that post. I'm going to make a comment. Oh my God, you responded. That's fabulous. Yeah. So they're going to feel warm about you and they're going to want to come back and see more. We then want to try and get them into a group. And as I said before, you need to really think about who is the group for and what are you delivering in that group. So what is it and who is it for? So in the old days, like 3 or 4 years ago, it was fine to have a group that was called your page. So I've got a number of pages: Passport to Success, Strategy Social Media, Leading Women in Business. And in the old days, it was fine to have a group called that name. So my Leading Women in Business page has a group called Leading Women in Business. And it kind of says what it does on the tin, so that's not too bad. But my Strategy Social Media page and my Passport to Success page, I'm not going to call my group that, because what does it mean? Alright, Strategy Social Media has the word social media in it, so you might guess. But no, that's not what you want. What you want is a group called, my group's called Grow Your Business Through Social Media. So it's really clear what the group does. And you want to get people across from your page into your group by telling them what they're going to get in the group. So maybe there's some resources, there's some video training, there's some downloadables, there's some templates. Maybe you're going to be running a challenge in the group. There's a reason why people should go and join the group. Because once they're in the group, you can interact with them at a much greater level than you can on a page. On a page, 1 to 2%, these are Facebook's figures, of the people on your page will see your posts. Facebook say the reach is up to 8%, but the reach includes people who don't currently know your page. So for the people on your page, maybe 1 or 2% of people see your post. So if you've got a small page, that's not very helpful. If you've got less than 100 people, some people, you know, might not see it at all. And if you've got, you know, 1 million people on your page, then you're going to get 1,000 people seeing each post. That's better. It's still a very small percentage, but it's, you know, the reach is poor. But in groups, the reach is better. Now, it used to be that everybody would see everything that you posted in your group, and that isn't. Hi, Greg. Nice to see you. And that isn't actually what happens anymore. People don't see what is going on in your group all the time. They see it if you go live, mostly, not always, because again the algorithm's changing. Why is the algorithm changing? My best guess is that groups are going to be paid, but Facebook's going to be leveraging groups and making money from groups. So obviously the reach will drop, and then when you pay, the reach will go up again. That's just my cynical take on it, but I think that's probably where it's going. But still, many more people will see your stuff in your group. And also, you can capture their information as they enter your group. So what you want to know in a group is, you know, why are people joining? What do they want to get out of it? And how can you interact with them? So here's the magic 3 questions that we ask in every group. Now you can rephrase these to your own terminology, but these are the 3 questions you need to ask when people join your open group. By the way, your secret group, your private group, which can be for your paying clients, call that whatever you like. If your business is Passport to Success, call it Passport to Success VIP group, because that's fine. It doesn't matter what the group's called. They're only in it by invitation anyway. But if it's an open group, then you know, like I said, we need to think about what we call it, and we need to ask them some questions as they enter. Now don't waste these questions because you only get 3, and you want to record the answers, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the 3 questions, don't ask how did you find about the group, unless you're doing a lot of different kinds of, I don't know, strategies and you want to know which one's working. Don't waste that. Don't waste a question with, do you promise to stick to the group rules? Just a waste of a question. If they don't stick to the group rules, you can just delete them. You know, that's what the rules are for. So, the questions that you want to ask are, you want a question that identifies whether they are your ideal avatar or not. So, for the grow your business through social media group, the people we're after is small businesses in the first 2 to 3 years of their business who want to grow their business, obviously. So my question might be, are you an established business or a startup, or have you been going, 0 to 3 years, or are you just thinking of starting up? Something around that, so you can identify and segment those people, because if you're just starting a business, you're going to want probably quite different information than somebody who's been in business for 3 years. And so when those people go into my email list, they will get different information. The second question is always around this subject, which is, what informational support would make this group perfect for you? And they will tell you. So isn't it better to create the content that people are telling you that they need and want, rather than just kind of guessing? So you might say specifically, to try and get people to focus their brains, specifically, what information or support would make this group perfect for you? And you will get loads of answers. And that will help you enormously to create the content. And not only that, you can create the content, you can tag that person into the content, and how loved will they feel? Oh my God, I joined this group, I asked for this and I got this, that's amazing. So the more you can do early on in a group to get people engaged, the better, because if they come in, nothing's going on, they'll just bugger off and they won't come back. Whereas if they come in and then see that you're answering their questions, other people are welcoming them, stuff's happening, they're more likely to stay and get engaged in that group. The third question, now don't quote me on this because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a GDPR specialist. However, I would say the best time to try and ask somebody for their email address is when they're joining the group, because they already want to join the group for a reason, which they told you in question 2. So question 3 is always, what email or phone number, if you prefer mobile, is the best, what's the best email for you or the best phone number for you, so that we can send you something to do with what they're looking for. So if you've attracted the right person to that group, it might be, so we can send you more information about how to grow your business through social media. Now, not everybody will give it, and they don't have to give it. It's not obligatory. However, a lot of people will give it, and then, as long as you then email them and say, thanks for joining the group, here's something free for you. Of course, you may unsubscribe at any time if you don't want to receive emails from me. Then I don't think that's against GDPR. I could be wrong. I'm not a GDPR specialist. However, that's what we do with our groups, and it works very well. About 60% of people normally give their contact details because, of course, they want your knowledge. They want your information. That's why they've joined the group in the first place. Now, the really important thing that you need to do, you need to record the answers. You need to have a spreadsheet which has their name, maybe the link to their Facebook page, the answers that they've given you to the questions, maybe where they are in the world if you can see that on their profile, and you need to keep that information, because as soon as you press approve to join the group button, that information's gone forever. Facebook might have it somewhere, but they don't share it with you. So this was a strategy we used for a friend of mine whose husband had recently come out of the army and started a group to do with people who'd recently come out of the army. And it was getting lots of traction, and I said, ask these 3 questions, record all the answers. So just after Christmas I spoke to them and said, how's it going? Great, they had 6,000 people in the group, fantastic, brilliant. I said, well, what a resource you've got there for your, in terms of the emails. You know, that's amazing, amazingly valuable list of people. They hadn't recorded the information. Even though I told them to, they had forgotten to record the information. Oh, how painful. All those email addresses that they could have had and now don't have. Luckily the group is, is very interactive and there's a lot of engagement. So there are other ways that they can, they can use that group. But what a wasted opportunity. So don't forget to record the data. That's my big tip for this afternoon. So, oh my goodness, 28 minutes past 2. It's gone so quickly. I can't believe how quickly that has gone. There was so much more I could have told you. I'll have to do another one of these programs later on with a better lighting. I have bought a light today specifically for this. This lovely halo light. It's just here, but it's not as bright as I hoped it might be. So, if you have any questions on your social media, feel free to go join the group, Grow Your Marketing Through Social Media, Grow Your Business Through Social Media Marketing, and feel free to connect with me, message me on Facebook, link with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, whatever platforms you choose, feel free to come and do that. And I hope you found today useful. If you've got any questions, get in touch and I will attempt to provide the answer for you. We're also going to be doing some more challenges, one a month in that group. So last month's was about Facebook groups, 40 minutes a day on how to leverage your Facebook group, which was a fantastic challenge and people got a lot of it. I had an email yesterday to say just one of the tips that you gave me I implemented, and I've already had an email inquiry, so she's already had a lead for her business from that. So great to see you today. Hope whether you're watching this live or watching it on catch up that you've had some value. If you have, put a comment in the box for me, thumbs up, little heart, whatever you like, and I will see you again soon on Brand Builders TV.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/brandbuilderstv. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.